Hello, football fans. I'm Dennis Tobler in Las Vegas, and this is the home of Super Bowl 58. And welcome to Football Forecast Weekly. Today's program is brought to you by the Sports Players Club. Welcome to the Sports Players Club, betspc.net. Whether you're a sports bettor, horse racing fan, or casino player, betspc.net is your number one source for online gambling entertainment. From our industry-leading odds and world-class sports book to our rich casino games and fully loaded race book, we've been providing players from around the world with an unparalleled gaming experience for many years. Contact us today at betspc.net or our customer service, betspc777@gmail.com. Contact us today. Hello, sports fans. If you would like to run your own shop, you need to have it powered by realbookie.com software. Join over 1,000 satisfied bookies around the world that utilize realbookie.com software for their business. Not only do you get a free 4-week trial, but you get live in-game wagering, an instant account setup, 24/7 customer support, a free race book, free virtual and live casinos, and you only pay for active players. This is the number one PPH provider in the entire world, so contact them today, realbookie.com, or call 1-800-949-6285. That's realbookie.com. Welcome back to Football Forecast Weekly, everyone. I want to invite all of you to stay with the show because we've got tons of information on the Super Bowl. Being here in Las Vegas, it couldn't be more exciting. I've been to a few events already, and especially the one at the Nowhere Lounge at the new Fontainebleau Hotel Casino. That's where we will have our after party and before party for the Super Bowl this year with the Jennifer Keith Sextet and Mondo Durrami on saxophone. It's a great, great show, and we can't wait to be parts of that. So before we get into the football part of it, I want to invite all of you to the Fontainebleau, the newest casino hotel in Las Vegas on the second floor of the Nowhere Lounge. We'll be there Saturday and Sunday. Just tell them Dennis Tobler sent you, and it's all free, no cover charge. Come in and party with us for the Super Bowl. And I must say that the town is hopping, even though we've had wet weather all week long. There are 1 million people in town, and there will never be another Super Bowl like this one. This will be by far be the best Super Bowl in the history of Super Bowls, and we aren't even started yet. So you just sit back and watch Las Vegas take you to a new dream world when this game comes on, because this will be the finest Super Bowl production ever produced. And I hope we get to be a part of it along the way, even though it is a small part of it. So before I go any further, I want to bring on the expert guest that I have each week, and that's Mr. Fred Wallen. Mr. Fred Wallen is a sportsbyline.com radio host and is one of the top hosts in the country. He does Sports Overnight America on Fridays and Saturdays, and we will have more on that show later on in the show. But right now, Fred, how you doing down there? Are you rained out in California?
Yeah, it was horrible here. It really was. And I know our producer Alan was in San Diego. It was really bad there too. So, yeah, no question about that. But you mentioned Las Vegas and the Super Bowl. You have $2.5 million. You can get a suite for 20 people at the Allegiant Stadium and go from there.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. I think seats are $15,000 right now. I don't know what they'll go up to at the end of the day, but I mean, you didn't really need to. On Monday, they had the opening thing, and all the players were in the stadium, and it was the opening night for the Super Bowl supposedly. And they interviewed the coaches and they interviewed the players, and that place they sold seats for $35 a piece on Monday, and they filled the place. So the
And they
Super Bowl is going to be something.
apparently they booed Patrick Mahomes.
They booed Mahomes and they booed Travis Kelce, but here's the reason why. Okay. There are more San Francisco people in town right now than there are Kansas City people. You got to realize Monday was the first day of the Super Bowl week, and that's when this event took place. So, yeah, there are a lot of San Francisco and California people here, but I don't think the Missouri and the outstate people have arrived yet. So it's going to be a big time in town. And you're right, they did boo Kelsey and the Chiefs. So who knows who's going to have the home field when it comes to game time here.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Again, we have to have a great game. You indicated what's going on in Las Vegas. The price is beyond belief. So hopefully it'll be a great game. And I think it will be. I think it'll be a high scoring affair. And later we'll talk the numbers, but 47.5 seems to be a little low in my opinion. We'll see what happens, of course, on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll take a closer look at the lines and talk about some of the line movements and some of the wise guy action a little later on in the show. But right now, we want to get everybody set and ready for the events that are happening here this week. I want everybody to know that the new Sphere that is in town called the MSG Sphere, that thing is the most brilliant device that's ever been invented by mankind. It's going to be showing highlights of the Super Bowl as the Super Bowl is played. The players will be 150 feet tall, Fred, on that sphere while they're showing the replays of the Super Bowl. So when you come to Las Vegas, there's no limit to the attractions that you can see. And this by far will be the greatest Super Bowl ever.
Well, again, I think it might be. You've got two fine quarterbacks. I think most people believe Mahomes to be number one. A lot of people think already Purdy's number two. I'm not sure about that, but should be an exciting game. Should be a high scoring game, and hope the fans enjoy. I'll be enjoying it right here in Southern California. I was invited to a party. Sandy and I were, and we usually go every year. But this year, I actually want to watch the game and listen to what's going on. Because if you go to a party, you understand what's going. You're not following it as closely as if you're by yourself. So I think this time I'm going to just sit here because I think it's going to be one heck of a game.
Yeah, you have to watch the game in private so you can play in-game wagers because there's probably no way you can lose money if you know what you're doing and the way they'll score back and forth in this game. So that's another reason why you want to do that. Our party for the Football Forecast Weekly people will be before on Saturday night and then on Sunday night after the Super Bowl. So we'll get to watch the game and go to the parties at the same time. So I know we're going to be breaking down the Super Bowl and we're putting in a close to the 2023 season. Any highlights that stuck in your head?
Well, it was a very interesting season in that clubs like Philadelphia and Miami ended on a downslide, and Buffalo, as good as Josh Allen is, they found a way to lose. Baltimore, look, you don't have to be a genius to play football, but you can't be brain dead. And you got Zay Flowers for Baltimore doing two things in the last quarter that maybe cost the team the game. A, the 15-yard penalty for taunting after he made the 54-yard reception. And then even worse, leaning forward with the football after he made the catch from the 1-yard line. It goes into the end zone for a touchback. Dennis, you and I have seen this many, many times. If it's fourth down, okay, you have nothing to lose. But if it's first down, let somebody else be the hero and score the touchdown on the next play or the play after that. Why do they want to be here? I mean, I understand egos, but the point is you got to be a team player and a smart player, and Zay Flowers was not.
Yeah, and I do think for once we have got the two best teams in the NFL facing off in the Super Bowl. I can't wait to dive into some of the other action. So we'll take a short break here. I want to go out of these segments showing some highlights from our party at the Fontainebleau. And we'll start with Jennifer Keith Sextet and Mondo Durrami on the saxophone. And we'll have a couple of commercials. We'll be back on the show to discuss football. Welcome to the Sports Players Club, betspc.net. Whether you're a sports bettor, horse racing fan, or casino player, betspc.net is your number one source for online gambling entertainment. From our industry-leading odds and world-class sports book to our rich casino games and fully loaded race book, we've been providing players from around the world with an unparalleled gaming experience for many years. Contact us today at betspc.net or our customer service, betspc777@gmail.com. Contact us today. Hello, sports fans. If you would like to run your own shop, you need to have it powered by realbookie.com software. Join over 1,000 satisfied bookies around the world that utilize realbookie.com software for their business. Not only do you get a free 4-week trial, but you get live in-game wagering, an instant account setup, 24/7 customer support, a free race book, free virtual and live casinos, and you only pay for active players. This is the #1 PPH provider in the entire world, so contact them today, realbookie.com, or call 1-800-949-6285. That's realbookie.com. Well, welcome back, everyone. And I want to add a little bit more to the Sports Players Club. If you sign up for the Sports Players Club for the Super Bowl, you will receive a square in the square pool for the Super Bowl game. That's right, a $100 value square will be yours absolutely free if you sign up on Sports Players Club before the Super Bowl. So go to betspc.net and sign up now and get your free square for the Super Bowl square party. Now, you can't hardly pass up a deal like that, can you, Fred? A free
No, you
square
can't.
in the square pool?
You can't lose. You got a
Can't
shot to
lose.
win. I mean, it's a perfect situation.
Pad your pocket with some extra money if you win, and there's nothing to lose on it. And at the same time, you get to log in and be a member of the Sports Players Club. Sounds great to me. So as we were talking earlier, as the season closed out, one of the things that caught my eye was how some of the teams fell apart and some of the teams came back and finished strong. You mentioned Buffalo finishing strong. Philadelphia fell flat on their face the last weeks of the season. And then we find out this week that they're going to play the first game next season in Brazil. So I don't know what Philadelphia is going to have to do, but they do have a problem there. And I don't know where the problem lies, but they're not going to win Super Bowls. They can't beat the two teams that are in the Super Bowl, even though they were rated that high all year long. What's the matter with them?
Well, they had injuries. I don't think there's any question about that at the wide receiver position beyond A.J. Brown. And again, is Hurts a top-notch quarterback? I think you probably rate him 7 through 10 in the National Football League. And as far as Miami is concerned, I watched the Hard Knocks in season, and I like the attitude of certainly the coach. But the bottom line is, I'm not sure that Tua is among the top 5 quarterbacks. I don't think he's got the arm to be that. I mean, he's a very smart quarterback, but his over 30 or 40 yards, he's got to really arch the ball, and that's going to cost him interceptions and knockdowns and things like that. So again, from that aspect, you definitely have the best quarterback in the league in Mahomes, because he's a magic man. I don't think there's any question about that. And you might have the second or third best in Brock Purdy, second year, was the last pick in last year's draft. And interesting story about Purdy. We've had a guest on our show on Sports Overnight America named Mike Lombardi, and he's written a book called Football's Done Right. In fact, we're going to have him on later this week. And the #1 player of all the players, of 100 players, and he's been a general manager of 3 Super Bowl winners, is Tom Brady. And apparently the 49ers told Purdy in the offseason, if you come back from the arm injury, you're our starter. Don't worry about it, except if we sign Tom Brady. Of course, they didn't sign Tom Brady, and Purdy's had a fantastic season. So interesting. I did not know that they were serious about Tom Brady after having him sit out the year, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know if they're serious either. I mean, Tom Brady bought a piece of the Las Vegas Raiders and everybody thought he was going to come here to quarterback. And then everybody thought he was going to go to Denver and fulfill something there. I think Tom's done. I really think he's better off retired, and I hope they quit talking about that stuff. Oh, another team I wanted to ask you about before, there's a couple of them that fell flat on their face. I want to mention Detroit because they were the ones that made it to the finals, but their weak defense cost them, just like we talked about all season long. And then Baltimore's problem, in my opinion, was they just got flustered. They got frustrated. They thought they were going to win at home, and when they got their hands full with the Chiefs and fell behind, they gave up. I mean, Lamar is not the best quarterback in the league, and I hope he doesn't win MVP because that was a game he should have won, and he didn't win that game. And Kansas City's on playing great football now. They were one of the teams early in the year playing terrible ball, who proceeded on and got better as the year went on. And you're right. I think the quarterbacks take these teams there. Mahomes took Kansas City to the Super Bowl, and Lamar couldn't, and Detroit's quarterback couldn't, and all the rest of them couldn't. But the ones that are there deserve to be there.
Lamar Jackson will be the MVP because it's just the regular season. And, he was the best quarterback in the eyes of a lot of people during the regular season. That interception he threw against 3 defenders is nonsensical. You can't do that. So again, he's proven
that MVP in the league. I don't care if they vote him MVP or not. That's that East Coast bias that does that, because there's no way he's the MVP in the league. He couldn't get him to the Super Bowl. Give me a break. Give him his money and let him play and forget about it. So as we close out the 2023 season, we're both in agreement the 2 strongest teams right now are in the Super Bowl. And that doesn't happen very often, and we should look for a great game here. I guess it's time to bust out the odds. I mean, the game opened at San Francisco, 2.5 point favorite, and it immediately was bet down to -1. It laid there at -1 for 4 or 5 days, and then it went up to -2, where it solidly sat at the spots I look at for the rest of this week. The total, of course, as you mentioned, is 47.5. I don't, this is the thing that confuses me, okay? And you try to clarify this for me. The bookmakers say that all of the bets and the total amounts of money favor Kansas City through the window, okay? But San Francisco moved from -1 to -2. Now, why, if all the money's coming in on Kansas City, do the bookmakers move it to -2? Now, I have a short answer for you from the yahoos that run the Westgate, the former Hilton, the Westgate Sportsbook here. The guy there that runs the sportsbook says, well, I anticipate the game's going to go to 2.5, so that's what I'm going to put the game at. So you can bet a bunch of wise guys have already hammered Kansas City at +2.5 at that spot, because that's a ridiculous way to look at the game. All your bets are on Kansas City, yet you're going to move the line the other direction. You're not drawing any Chiefs money by doing that. What gives there? What gives?
I don't know, but I would be willing to bet. I guess that's what we're doing here on this show. That game time, Kansas City is at least pick 'em. I have a hunch that the money late is going to come in on Kansas City, so I have no reasonable reason why they'd be moving it up to 2.5. I think it's going to go the other way before kickoff on Sunday. Just my gut feeling, and of course the conspiracy theory. I think a lot of people actually believe that. So with the conspiracy behind us, the money's got to come in on the Chiefs.
Well, also, the guy at the Westgate, the bookie at the Westgate, said he expects to have more money on San Francisco as they come into town for the weekend. So he has a completely different view than you do. That's why we're able to beat these guys, I think. That's why we constantly beat their numbers, because they really are not as experienced as we are. And that being said, I want to throw it now to a little bit of a conversation about some of these shows out there. You were talking to me the other day about how they used to fly you from California back to New York to be on WFAN radio when some of their stars were missing. So you'd have a really information-packed show that was good for the public. Now, that isn't being done anymore, Fred. I've watched these shows this day and age, and we've got little ladies picking games and we've got little guys picking games, and they're all in their 20s and 30s. And I'm pretty sure they don't know as much as we do or have as much experience as we do, yet they're the ones that are blabbing off on TV all the time. And one thing that irritates me the most is their best bets are always things like, will so-and-so get 18 and a half yards receiving? And I'm going to parlay that to, will so-and-so pass for 202 yards? First of all, you can't bet those bets in Vegas. You can only bet them on the sports books that really like to rob people with the juice they charge. So anything you need to add to that?
Well, again, I was there the first, July 1987, WFAN began. And they flew me in 3 times, 7 weeks. In my career, that was the most exciting 7 weeks I've ever had in my life. Emmis Broadcasting owned it, and Jeff Smolian, a genius, president of Emmis, and they actually put me up right over Central Park. You can't do any better than that. So that's A. But B, they had people like Jim Lampley and Greg Gumbel, who was as nice to me as anybody who's ever been in this business. Now they've gone a different direction. Those guys were talking national stuff. I was talking national stuff. Now it's all New York, New York, New York, and Los Angeles. It's all Los Angeles, Los Angeles, Los Angeles. I think the public deserves better. And, with Sports Illustrated basically losing its license, ESPN Sports Magazine doesn't publish, Sporting News doesn't publish. So from the printing point of view, we're losing a lot of our great history of sports. And now it's the same thing in radio, where I don't think we're at where we were before. And they're just trying to do it on the cheap. And if you hire a 30-year-old kid, maybe you don't have to pay him anywhere near what you have to pay a 50-year-old man or a 60-year-old man, even though he doesn't know as much and he won't know the history as well. So we have a problem, Dennis. There's no question.
Yeah, I told you the other day, I think you and I were born too early, because if it was 1990s and the Super Bowl was in Las Vegas, we'd rule the roost here. But as time has gone by, why they took way too long to legalize it and bring it here to Las Vegas to the people. So I think that some of these outfits, it's not fair really, because I believe they're pushing off bad bets to the sports books who are sponsoring their shows. When FanDuel and DraftKings sponsors a show, and then they come up with all these crazy in-game parlays and these fanciful proposition plays and stuff like that, that's just leading the public the wrong direction. That's always been a pet peeve of mine ever since I was in the sports information business, and I still am selling my information, which is valuable compared to their information, with no background, no experience, and most of them haven't lost their ass a few times like I have to learn the lesson a hard way. And that's what you have to be able to win at betting on sports.
Last Sunday, 60 Minutes on CBS, and CBS will be carrying the Super Bowl, had a 12-minute segment on gambling. They had 3 young guys telling their stories. And, 38 states now allow it. California does not. And soon, I think all the states will. People will go bankrupt. People will go broke. People will lose their homes. I don't think there's any question. You just have to be sharper. And you indicate, I mean, we've got so many different possible wagers, so many different prop bets. And if you're going to bet in that direction, you better be assured. You better be as sure as you can be that you're right on. And you shouldn't bet more than you can afford. And that's what the commercials say. But if you're addicted, the person that's addicted doesn't care what that commercial says. You know that, and I know that. So, folks, you listen to Dennis, and you'll get the sharp answers and the sharp responses. Don't just do it on a whim, because if you do it on a whim, you're going to be broke soon.
Right. And I don't think anybody wins more than we win. So there's the bottom line to that. I have contests under my belt in Vegas that I've won for 30 years. So there's no comparison to my expertise compared to some of these guys on ESPN. By the way, was bought by Barstool Sports. So that's why they fired all of their people. I look for their programming to go downhill. Sports Illustrated is good. They go out of business. I never liked that magazine. But when it comes to picking games, we're going to have to take a short break here, but I want all the people to listen closely because you can get my full picks for the Super Bowl on TSI's footballforecast.com website. We'll be right back in a few minutes. At the end of the week, I make my picks. I put them up on footballforecast.com. Anyone who wants to purchase my picks for the weekend can do so by going to footballforecast.com and clicking on the page to buy the picks. Now, also on that page, I have my money management system. So even if you don't want to buy the picks, go to footballforecast.com, read about the money management system, and learn how you can better become a winner at betting on pro football. So don't forget it. Write it down. Footballforecast.com. Not only can you view the show there, but you can get my weekend selections there too.
Now place your bets. This groundbreaking film details the dramatic rise of legal sports betting in Las Vegas and its growth into a multi-billion-dollar industry worldwide. Through in-depth interviews, personal accounts, and vintage footage, we highlight the key elements and milestones that shaped the sports betting industry into what it is today. This history also dovetails with the changing fortunes of Las Vegas as a gambling town at turns overseen by the elements of organized crime, corporate interests, and the U.S. government. Featured prominently in the film are pioneer odds makers and historians who witnessed these events. Today, betting on sports is a popular pastime and a lifestyle choice for many Americans. Its appeal incorporates the innate drive for competition and the rewards of winning. Watch Now Place Your Bets on Amazon Prime and nowplaceyourbets.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I would like to invite all of you to watch Now Place Your Bets, the history of sports betting in America. This documentary won many prizes and has been on Amazon Prime Video for the last 5 years and is the highest grossing documentary on sports betting the world has seen. You must watch the show. Now Place Your Bets. It's on Amazon Prime or nowplaceyourbets.com. Let's get back into some football. Fred Wallen, the game is -2 and 47. How do you think it breaks out? Who jumps out to the lead? What do you see the game turning into?
I think it'll be a high-scoring game. I think 47 is low. I'm in Lee Steinberg's contest. They started with 400 people, and now there's 11 people left. I like Kansas City. So if you're going to bet the Chiefs, in my opinion, that line's going to move. I think at kickoff time again, it's going to be pick'em or something real close to pick'em. So take the 2 or 2.5 if you get it right now. Do not wait, because I think in the end, my gut feeling says that Kansas City will pick up a lot of bucks, and I think the Chiefs will end up winning this game. You've got a key for San Francisco, the health of Debo. If Debo plays, I mean, obviously, no team in the National Football League has a combo of Debo, McCaffrey, and Elliott. You can't beat that, and Kittle's not exactly bad either. So you put those 4 people, and it's Purdy's got some certainly go-to guys. But Kansas City, the last couple of weeks, and their problem when they were not playing well wasn't Mahomes. It was the wide receivers who couldn't catch a pass. Now, the last couple of weeks, they caught the passes. I think they will here against San Francisco. You've got Rice, the rookie, who's very, very fast. You've got Watson, who people don't understand. I play him always in fantasy because he's liable to catch 6 for 100 yards, and nobody else has him. So from that aspect, Kansas City's got the receivers. Pacheco's a better running back than a lot of people believe. He's not McCaffrey. Nobody's McCaffrey. But Pacheco's awfully good. So in the end, I think Kansas City's going to win. And also, people don't talk about this. For San Francisco, you've got a kicker out of Michigan, Moody. He's not Butker. Butker might be the second best kicker in the National Football League behind Tucker. So if you see a parlay, and I've seen it, 1.5, I think he's going to kick more than 1.5. But if you get reasonable odds on that, you might lean in that direction. another parlay, another prop thing that I like a little bit is that they've got Mahomes rushing for 25.5 yards. Folks, he might only get 3 yards and 4 yards, but somewhere in 60 minutes, he's going to run for 25. I guarantee it. So I think that one, if you get reasonable, only if you get reasonable odds in the prop, I think he's going to run for more than 25 yards. In the end, I think the Chiefs will win. I've got like 37-27, something like that.
Well, I'm going to take a different tact on it. And my way of thinking is Kansas City's done a great job recently on defense. They filling the holes with their rush so they can stop the rushing with their defensive pass rush so they can stop the rushing game of the other team. That's what's really made them successful. And then they sit on the ball. Like you say, they hand it off to Pacheco. They throw short passes. The longest pass they'll do, maybe 10 yards to Kelsey to get a first down. So I think they've slowed down the game a lot. And I'm not sure the game's going to go under with the way their defense is playing. Now, San Francisco's defense, I'm a little questionable about it because look what Detroit did to them in the first half of that game. I mean, if Mahomes can't carve them up like that, then nobody can. So they're going to have to make some changes if they're going to plan on winning this game, San Francisco. I'm with you. I think, and I'm not a Kansas City fan, and I'm not as particularly a Mahomes fan, but right now he's the best quarterback in the league. And what I've seen him play through the playoffs here is tremendous football, keeping his team together, keeping all the players on the field, and him and Kelsey and all of their experience, and they've been there, they've done that, they're all pro. That will come through in shining colors. Now, I am one of the guys who says that Brock Purdy has small hands. Okay. And you know what we think about people with small hands. And it's not going to rain here. I guarantee you, because we have a dome on the Allegiant Stadium. But I still think that there's going to be some time when the ball's going to get away from him. Now, he didn't do that well in the first half of the Detroit game, but boy, he came back hellfire in the second half, and he made some plays that I couldn't even believe he made. So I have second thoughts about him doing it, but the fact of the matter is Mahomes and the Chiefs are so experienced. They have so much experience at this that it's going to make a little bit of a difference. And I want to say something else too about the 49ers. They do. I do think Debo will play. I don't know if he's 100% or if he'll get hurt in the game, but he will play. And that being said, they have so many targets. That's what helps Purdy be a good quarterback too. But if Kansas City's defense can enclose him and rush through the offensive rush lanes and hold the run down and make him pass, they might have a little bit more of a problem. Therefore, I think the game's going to go under. I'm going to make the game Kansas City 24-23 as my pick. And I have one, me, I don't play fantasy and I don't play many props. But there's one prop that I'm going to play. I have to look at it again. It's Noel Gray, the tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs who plays on the opposite side of Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
They got him down for 1.5 receptions and 11.5 yards for 11.5 yards. I'm going to play over on both of those. So those numbers are going to skyrocket. Most of the people that I know are going to play over on those two things on the opposite tight end on the Kansas City Chiefs. So that tells me too that I think he's going to be a part of the game. And they're not going to be going deep all the time. They're just going to try ball control and keep the ball away from that offensive team of the 49ers, which if they get on a roll, you've seen what they did to Detroit in the second half. There's no stopping them. So Kansas City's going to have to play a full game of defense. Right now, I make the game 24-23, but I could change before game time because it's a long time till game time. And let's hope that we can get out of this thing with a win.
But the biggest key, in my opinion, is Taylor Swift is performing in Japan the night before. She's flying all night to get there by 3:00 local time. So with her there, I think Kelsey's going to have quite an afternoon. And again, I like Kansas City to win this one.
Well, we can't do the show without talking about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. I mean, everybody's talking about that. So I'll chime in my 2 cents worth. She will be okay because she'll sleep on her private jet on the way back to Las Vegas. Okay. So she'll be raring to go when she gets here. And yeah, I think it's a wonderful thing because some of the worst people in the world can't stand it that those two hooked up, and I can't imagine why. So I like it that they hooked up, and it certainly will bring more attention to the ball game here in Las Vegas. I think some of the boos from the crowd on Monday was because of that fact, anyway. And it will be fun to watch and see. And of course, everybody wants her there. We want to see all the action we can see. We're Las Vegas, man. We've got stars everywhere. There'll be stars in the top row of Allegiant Stadium, for crying out loud. The city's full of them. So yeah, it's going to be a great game. It's going to be the prelude to the game is going to be fantastic. The post-game activities are going to be fantastic. We don't want anybody to miss our parties. But for now, let's take a short break here, and we'll come back in a minute, and we'll promo Sports Overnight America and tell people how they can get more information on the Super Bowl. We'll be right back. Welcome to the Sports Players Club, BetSPC.net. Whether you're a sports bettor, horse racing fan, or casino player, BetSPC.net is your #1 source for online gambling entertainment. From our industry-leading odds and world-class sports book to our rich casino games and fully loaded race book, we've been providing players from around the world with an unparalleled gaming experience for many years. Contact us today at betspc.net or our customer service, betspc777@gmail.com. Contact us today. Hello, sports fans. If you would like to run your own shop, you need to have it powered by realbookie.com software. Join over 1,000 satisfied bookies around the world that utilize realbookie.com software for their business. Not only do you get a free 4-week trial, but you get live in-game wagering, an instant account setup, 24/7 customer support, a free race book, free virtual and live casinos, and you only pay for active players. This is the #1 PPH provider in the entire world, so contact them today, realbookie.com, or call 1-800-949-6285. That's realbookie.com. Welcome back, everyone. Before we go and close out the 2023 football season, I do have some shout outs for thank yous. I want to thank Tommy, who's helped me tremendously in the setup of the show, the layout, all of the elements that go with it. I couldn't have did it without Tommy's help. So I really appreciate that. I want to thank our 2 new sponsors too. It's very nice to have sponsors that are in the game, because that way the people learn how the game is done and how the game is ran, how the game is bet on, et cetera, et cetera. So really proud and pleased to have the 2 sponsors that we have. And Fred, we're going to have one more shot at giving people information on your program, Sports Overnight America, the Fred Wallen Show, coming up on Friday at 10 p.m. Pacific. Can you give our fans out there some more specifics on your show?
It's actually heard everywhere. It's heard in Las Vegas on KSHP 1400. It's heard on American Forces Radio. If you have Sirius, it's Sirius 217, XM 203. It's heard on Sports Byline. It's heard on Sports Map. It's heard just about everywhere, to tell you the truth. And in sportsbyline.com and American Forces, gals and guys, you stay healthy. And you're going to be on this weekend with us. And also Mike Lombardi, who's been general manager of 3 Super Bowl clubs. So, folks, if you tune in to Dennis and you tune in to Mike and you tune into Sports Overnight America Friday and Saturday nights, you're going to get a lot more info than almost anywhere else. And if you add up the info you're getting right now to the add up you're going to get this weekend on Sports Overnight America, you're going to be all set to go Sunday at 3 o'clock Pacific and 6 o'clock in the East.
I'm really proud and honored to be on the show, especially with your special guest this week. And I hope I have some more to add to what we've already told the people here. But yeah, everybody tune in to Sports Overnight America. It'll be on Saturday night also. So tune in 10 p.m. Pacific time, or it can be listened to anytime on the apps, right, Fred?
Yeah.
Like Tune In and some of those apps, you can listen to the show anytime. So stay with us both, and we'll take you through the Super Bowl this year. And for Fred Wallen and Alan Jett and Tommy and myself, we wish you the best of luck in the Super Bowl, and we'll see you again next year on Football Forecast Weekly.